Just to be logical about things, if it's wrong to give money to people, then it must be right to take it off people. If it's right to take it off people, then burglars and bank robbers are good people, which they're not. Therefore, it's not wrong to give money away. You just need to find the right people to give it to. And I had to find them in the next 10 days. Every week during art, Mr. Quinn writes a title on the board, and you can do a drawing, make a collage, build a model, whatever. This week he wrote, "If I got £1,000,000 for Christmas, ... Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Everyone ran for the bendy straws box. Bendy straw sculptures were the big thing that term, and got going on a bendy straw yacht, house, car, everything. Personally, I was staring at a big blank sheet of paper. I stared at it so long that I thought I was going to fall into it and be swallowed up in icy white nothing. I'll do you a drawing if you're stuck." It was Tricia Springer, who was the best at art. "Would you? Honest?" "Sure." "Could you do a yacht or a car or a house? That's what most people have gone for. Or we could think outside the box, maybe a rocket or horses or a nice stretch of land." "I just can't think," I said. "What would you like to draw?" "I can draw horses out of my own head, 50 quid each." "How do you mean?" "I'll draw you one horse for 50 quid, or two for 100, a herd for, maybe 300. We could do a discount for anything over 6. Obviously, I have to draw all their feet because some of them will be partly obscured." What? Why is it so expensive?" I asked. "It's not. You gave some kid a tenner for fetching your hot lunch the other day. This is my talent you're buying here. I am the best at art." "When I came to school on your bike, you said you didn't need £10. "Times have changed," she said. "There'll be a tenner. Where would a tenner get you in this school now? It's a tenner for 10 minutes on Keegan's GameCube, and it's all down to you." I gave her 100 quid for 2 horses without saddles, but with some mountains in the background. I tried to discuss things with Anthony at small play. "It's terrible," I said. "Everyone's got money, but no one's any richer because everyone just charges more. I mean, 100 quid for a picture, and it was a felt pen." She wanted more for paints. "Is she any good?" Anthony asked. "That's not the point." "It is for me," said Anthony. "Term's over soon. Dad's going to want to see a model of Tracy Island, the one I won the Subbuteo for." "She's the best at art," I replied. "Which one is she?" I pointed her out. He ended up paying her another £100 for the model, and she wanted 50 up front, even though the model wouldn't be ready until the last week of term. "It'll be worth it," said Anthony. "What do you think of the Rockports?" He showed me his new shoes. They were red with the laces tucked in at the side. I said, "Won't Dad notice that you've got new shoes?" "He never noticed anything," he replied, "but I'm not sure about them anyway. Now that everyone's got money, everyone's got Rockports. They're losing their prestigious value." "I need to ponder things in my head," I said, and I walked back across the playground with my eyes downcast, which is how I noticed that I was now the only boy not wearing Rockports. After school, I decided to go home via the hermitage. I ducked through the holly and stopped still. The hermitage was flat. I don't mean the wind had blown it over or the rain had battered it. I mean someone had taken off every bit of masking tape, piece by piece, and folded the cardboard boxes flat. They'd even folded the tartan travel rug. The micro mini scooters were out of their boxes, and the boxes were squashed flat and neatly packed on top of each other. It was all really neat. except for my statue of St. Francis, which was in hundreds of sharp little pieces thrown all over the mud. I was already frightened when I heard someone behind me. I span round to face a tall man in a bright blue robe. St. Charles, martyr of Uganda. That's right, he said, and he held out his hand for me to shake. It was covered in blood. Sorry about that. I was beheaded, you know. I know, I replied. Did you do this? No, but we can help you put it right. There's enough of us. It was only when he said this that I noticed there were other martyrs of Uganda there too. 22 of them in fantastic costumes, all waving at me. Beheading was very big in Uganda at the time. Some of us were in construction before we got into martyrdom. We'll all do what we can, but I can't promise anything. You've had some right cowboys in here. Do you know who did it? I asked. He looked off into the distance. I can lend a hand, but I can't point the finger. You have to figure it out yourself. And they all set off to work fixing the hermitage and singing the most beautiful song I'd ever heard. It rose and fell like waves on the sea, and sometimes one voice would call out above the others, like a bird appearing in the sunset. While they were singing, 2 African greys appeared and sat on the railway fence as though they were listening. I enjoy those birds. They make me feel like I'm at home. Did you set them free? Yes, like St. Francis, you know? What's the song about? It's about water. In Uganda now, people have to pay for water, sometimes as much as 10% of their income. That's privatisation for you. And don't talk to me about the IMF and the World Bank. OK, I won't then, I replied. People can't afford to wash their own hands, so they get diseases. You don't need fancy hospitals and drugs to keep people feeling better. You just need cheap, fresh water. Did you know that you can dig a well for as little as £1,000? No, I didn't, I replied. That's the most enjoyable news ever. Is it true? Completely true. Anthony seemed almost excited as I was when I told him. He was on givemeoneofthose.com, staring at the screen while a picture of the scuba scooter, £325 plus postage and packing, was downloading. He said, "That is fantastic. £1,000 for a well. You could buy 2. I was thinking of buying 220, I said. He bit his lip. Oh, right. Yes, there's a charity. They build wells. We give them money, they build the wells, we are sorted. And how are you going to give them the money? Pop 220 grand in the post? Have you felt the weight of it? Let me show you something. See this website? You can buy quad bikes, you can buy scuba scooters, that's underwater motorbikes. We can afford them. We can afford a fleet of them. Can we buy them? No, because you need a credit card or you need to go to the shop, and we can't because we're kids. What's your charity called? It was called WaterAid. We Googled around till we found it. It was based in Shrewsbury. Now, tell me how you're going to get to Shrewsbury with a big bag full of money. I said, they'll collect. Oxfam collect when we gave them that wardrobe from the old house. I'm sure the water people would just come and collect the cash. Anthony stared at me. He knew I was right. He went back to his Googling. I said, I'll just call them now then, shall I? If you like, if you're sure that's what you want to do with the money. Oh, definitely, I said. Do you know how much difference a well can make to an African village? I'll tell you. I'm sure it's great, Anthony interrupted. After all, India's not your problem, is it? How do you mean? I asked. Well, they need wells in India too, and Afghanistan. They're desperate in Afghanistan. But like I said, if you prefer Africa... He brought up a picture of a little girl with dust in her hair standing in a pile of rubble somewhere in Iraq. then another of a boy with one leg in Kosovo, then of a baby with a huge belly in Mozambique. As you said, Damien, why should you care? I did not say that. Maybe we could divide the money. Maybe we could. Did you know this, by the way, Anthony interrupted, that you can prevent river blindness with an injection that costs less than £1? $250,000. You could more or less wipe out river blindness. Well, that would be good, but what? I don't know what to do now. Think it over, said Anthony. I sat on the end of the bed staring at the carpet. I stared at it for so long it started to feel as if the bed was moving. I didn't mean for you to think it over right now. Maybe you should sleep on it? I looked up. Anthony was staring at a picture of a woman on his monitor. He'd been Googling again. What are you doing? See these women? You can buy them. Look, this one's called Victoria. Price £39.99. Let's have a look. Are you sure? He pushed me away. Spam for brains. It's an underwear website. Look. He zoomed in on a lacy bra and a swirl of black and white pixels swished across the screen. See that? Oh, just looks like pixels to me. What's it all for? I looked at the Victoria for a while. Even after Anthony had logged off, I could still see her in my brain whilst I was lying in bed. I imagined that you could really send off for her for £39.99 and that she'd come and we'd drive down to Shrewsbury together and be excellent and go whoosh to the top of the ladder.